What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Farzy show. I think the video people here on the podcast, I think you're lucky. I think I've just gone blurry. That's weird. Welcome into the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzy. This is the Farzy show presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. We're going to talk all things 76ers. We're going to talk all things Phillies today. And we're here live from the Steven Singer Studios as we are per usual. Let me just get this out of the way. I might have said this before during my last Pittsburgh wedding a couple months back. But if you ever get the opportunity to go to a Pittsburgh wedding, go to a Pittsburgh wedding. If you have a sweet tooth, I would meet people, find people from Pittsburgh, and I would befriend them to the point where they will invite you to their wedding just so you could raid the cookie table. Like, I will go out on whatever, if you there's friend making sites. I don't know. I know that you could date people on Match.com, whatever, the old Tinder. I know that, but you can do that. Befriend people from Pittsburgh and then get invited to their wedding years later. It's a long-term plan. And then you get invited to the wedding and you raid the cookie table. The Pittsburgh thing with the cookie tables and whatnot is nothing short of spectacular. Let me just show this stat real quick. I want to show this fine stat to you fine people. And while that happens, I'm hoping this camera fixes itself. So Joel Embiid is pretty good at basketball. Sixers take care of business last night in triumphant fashion against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And in that game, Joel Embiid happens to rattle off 40 points again, 44 points to be exact, 17 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 blocks. And according to StatMuse, he's one of only 3 Sixers to have recorded a 40-plus point game, a 15-plus rebound game in the last 40 seasons. Joel Embiid has 11 of those, while Charles Barkley and Moses Malone have 10. Not too bad. And the camera is fixed for now. Anyway, I am thrilled to see Joel Embiid put up that type of game. I'm thrilled to see what the Sixers did over the weekend in general, taking care of business against the Charlotte Hornets with a huge blowout victory. They handled that left and right. And then to come out yesterday, they didn't look great. We're not going to lie. They didn't look great in the early goings, especially against the Cleveland Cavaliers. But what happened? Joel Embiid was the difference in the game. And if you're going to be the MVP of the league, you got to be the difference maker. When everybody else on the team might not have it going, when James Harden's struggling again from the floor, when Tyrese Maxey isn't giving what he used to give you in terms of points per game, when all that's going on around you, you got to be the difference in the game. And that's exactly what Joel Embiid was. And we got blurry again. What is going on here? Anyway, so people in the podcast are very lucky today. And we have a new sub who just hit us up in the chat. Mike, welcome aboard. We're better than this, Mike. Welcome to the party, pal. But this is, I don't know why this is happening. But anyway, I'm thrilled to see what Joel Embiid did last night because that's what he needed to do. And especially in the later stages of the game, Joel Embiid just flat out took over. There were a couple opportunities there where you saw James Harden come out and he was able to get marketed on him at the top of the key. He was able to take him to the hole. That was all great. But this game, make no mistake about it, was Joel Embiid handling his business. Another stat to give you on last night's game. Joel Embiid, 44 points, 17 rebounds, 5 blocks. Joined Shaq, Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, Patrick Ewing as the only players with multiple 40, 15, and 5-block games since 1990. That ain't bad, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty damn good. And I was starting to get really worried about Joel Embiid as the season went on, especially over the last couple of weeks with Joker coming into town, the Denver Nuggets winning that game against the Sixers. Then you see Giannis come to town. The Bucks win that game against, or they go to Milwaukee. The Bucks come to town, or they face the Bucks. Giannis handles his business against the Sixers. Sixers really couldn't do much about that. So it was a tough stretch for this team. This was a game that I felt like Joel Embiid reestablished himself. Now, you look around the rest of the league. Unfortunately, right now, according to some sports books, you look at Joker, he's a minus 300 favorite now to win the MVP. Giannis has creeped his head back into that mix. I felt like last night, however this season goes, with 4 games remaining, the Sixers are in a spot to put Joel Embiid in the head at the head of that MVP race. So if they can do it over the last 4 games of the season, if he can lock that up by blowing teams away, maybe it'll happen. He said after the game last night, some other team, he just feels like the league or the voters hate him at this point. And that's why he hasn't won. That's what he feels like right now. Hopefully he can go out there and capture it in the last couple of games. Unlikely. He's got my vote. It's unlikely. I even said last week that it's probably going to go to Joker. It's unlikely that it goes to Joel Embiid. I'm hoping that all this changes for Joe because he deserves that MVP award. Hopefully it finally happens this year. Sixers did clinch a playoff spot last night, so they're back in the playoffs. They can range in the last 4 games of the season. They could go from the number 1 seed, highly unlikely, to the number 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. That's how tightly wrapped this John is. Kyle Lowry returned to Toronto last night. As a member of the Heat, Heat are 2 games up on the Celtics right now in the Eastern Conference for first place. So you got that going on. So after the game, there was another complaint. After the game, there was another complaint about the 76ers and their foul shooting. Joel Embiid was something like 17 for 20 from the free throw line last night. James Harden was at the line consistently last night. He had 21 points, a lot of his points coming from the free throw line. Joel Embiid was dominant, as he has usually been from the foul line. But J.B. Bickerstaff, the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, is just the latest coach now to come out and poo-poo the foul line trips for the Philadelphia 76ers. Here's Bickerstaff after last night's game.
We deserve to win that game. That game was taken from us. We deserve to win it.
And why and how so?
We did a great job defensively of making their 2 best players, have a difficult time from the field. But one thing you can't defend is the free throw line. And, that's absurd. That's absurd. Our guys deserve way better than what they got tonight.
No, just a suggestion. Maybe go out there and handle your business defensively and not foul. Like, here's what I don't understand. Like, every team knows what James Harden does. Every team knows what Joel Embiid does. How are you going to counter it? The old straight-up defense, like you're in grade school, hands in the air, take away the shot, take away the passing lanes. Instead, you just keep on fouling. Now, Bickerstaff goes on. I was surprised to hear him say that. And then later in the press conference, say something to the effect of, they're still great players. James Harden, Joel Embiid, not taking anything away from them. However, it's got to be a foul on both ends of the floor. He said it was uneven. It was about 10 foul shots that separated the Sixers from the Cavs. The Sixers had 42 foul shots, I think, in the game, and the Cavs had around 32. So it wasn't a huge discrepancy, but enough for him to bring it up after the game. And he was talking mostly about how a foul on one end of the floor had to be a foul on the other end of the floor. And especially later in the game, he felt like the calls went more towards the 76ers. If I'm the head coach, I'm not talking about free throws. If I'm the head coach, I'm talking about my guys playing, how they're playing defense. That's what I would look at, maybe. But Bickerstaff decided to go another direction. Overall, just very impressed with the way the Sixers handled this game last night. And Matisse Thybulle stealing that ball at the end of the game to ice the win was spectacular. He steals the basketball, flips it while he's on his old behind to Tobias Harris, who slams it home, and that's where he felt like, all right, now they got it. This is it. The Cavs wouldn't go away. Marketing all the credit in the world to him, was hitting threes for that team. He was doing a hell of a job. But overall, that was the play that really sealed it for the Sixers last night. They go on to face the Indiana Pacers coming up tomorrow night in Indiana as the season continues to wind down. So hopefully this team continues to get it together. Now, for those in the chat, Duck Rivers is who Doc Rivers has become now. I like to think of it as always ducking responsibility. Last night's game, I thought afterwards there was another feather in the cap of this team, and I know there's now national reports out there saying that the Sixers are done with Doc as well, as I've been done with Doc for over a couple of weeks now, 3 weeks now. After the game, Tyrese Maxey was talking about how he was on the bench for a long stretch of time. And when he got back into the game, he was like, oh, well, I was sitting on the bench for a long time. He said this to Ala Abdelnaby and Kate Scott afterwards. He said, well, I was on the bench for a long time, and then I came back. So I was just trying not to pull a hamstring. And I was like, are we talking about minutes again? Could this be about minutes possibly? Maybe. So we'll get into that conversation, I'm sure, throughout the week as well. But I'm not surprised at all to see the report out there that Joel Embiid is, or the Sixers have lost favor, or Doc Rivers has lost favor with the Sixers. Not shocked at all. When I heard Joel Embiid talk about his minutes, maybe match our minutes, when I have heard multiple times Doc Rivers out his players to the point of it's like, why are you out? What? Why are you? For instance, Joel Embiid was tired going up against Jokic, playing in the back-to-back. James Harden was struggling. It was more James Harden struggling than it was the bench struggling. Stuff like that just makes you go, hey, we're all for accountability. But, Doc, what about accountability for you? Like, what could you have done different? And every time I think that question, I answer it with, would you think that question about Pop? I mean, no, because he's a 5-time champion. But anyway, hey, camera, nice to have you. So that's what you had last night from Biggerstaff. Mickey Moniak is the starting center fielder for the Phillies. That was decided. Speaking of things just trying to be decided, like the MVP of the NBA, the MVP, the center fielder, the MVP center fielder, meaning between him and Matt Vierling and the injured Odubel Herrera, is Mickey Moniak. He wins the center field job. That I decree it. That's what happens. We're going to have from one of our sponsors, PHLSportsNation, we're going to have our man Matt Kerwin on the show coming up in just a second to break it all down for us. But the guy belts 2 home runs yesterday, the first of which he turned on and just smacked into right field. And it was funny because Kyle Schwarber, who led off the game for the Phillies, belted one over the highway in Clearwater. And Tom McCarthy goes, that might be the farthest ball I've seen hit in spring training. So not to be outdone, Mickey Moniak, some innings later, comes up and belts another one in the very similar spot, in the exact same direction as Kyle Schwarber. And Tom McCarthy goes, oh, wow. I don't know if that was as far as Kyle Schwarber, but it was pretty close. Mickey Moniak was a guy that was not supposed to have power. Mickey Moniak, a lot of people wanted to jump on and say, 16 years old, this kid, get out of here. And he has, over the last 3 years, has bulked up. He has been in the weight room. He has been in the batting cages. He has been working on his game. You know why? Because right out of the gate, people were taking right there, that little bag, and just saying, bust label. Bust. 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 And it's like, kid, he hadn't even been in the majors yet. Barely got his feet wet. And now he's got that opportunity to really take the center field reins. And I feel like he has earned that. If you're not going to get a lot out of spring training, maybe the one thing you can get is seeing if new guys or young guys are ready to take the reins or at least deserve that opportunity to do it. In Mickey Moniak's case, a legit opportunity to do it. This is the opportunity. Then that's what you can get out of spring training. The opportunity to try to siege a moment or siege a position at the major league level when this team so desperately needs somebody to step up to play center field. And when the Phillies re-signed Odubel Herrera, my first thought was, why? Why are we doing this? Why? We know how this story ends. We've seen this movie. We don't need this. And it came up on the show after they signed Odubel Herrera. Moniak, Vierling, even Scott Kingery, who has already been optioned away. One of these guys, Adam Hazley, who they traded away, one of these guys had to step up and save the Phillies from themselves. And that hasn't happened. The first couple of weeks of the season, that opportunity is going to be there, whether it's for Mickey Moniak, who I think it should be, or Matt Vierling, or you even have a chance to see them both a lot in the first couple of weeks of the season. But it's going to be up to those two to save the Phillies from themselves until you take over the center field spot. Mickey Moniak, 2 home runs yesterday, 310 in spring is what he was hitting. That is just great to see. Aaron Nola yesterday went 5 1/3, allowed another home run, but also had 9 strikeouts. And I'll say this: the home run that he allowed was in an 11-pitch at bat. So something just tells me, to hell with it, just hit this. Just if you hit this, good for you. And he hit it. Another home run given up. But Nola overall looked good. I saw his curveball was snapping. That looked like he had it on a string on a couple of different occasions yesterday. Good changeup, decent fastball. Like, he looked like he had it going. He looked like the Aaron Nola that we want to see come north with the big league ball club. So that was great. And Bryson Stott, I think, has locked up the third base spot as well. So when you look at this lineup, it's going to be an interesting balance of guys you know will rake. Castellanos, Schwarber, Harper. Then you look at the opportunity for 2 young guys on this roster to try to make things happen in Moniak in center field, most likely, and then also Bryson Stott at third base. I am very excited to see how these guys come together, both with the young guys that are really fighting for a spot on the big league roster and to keep that spot on the big league roster. And then at the same time, the more veteran guys, including a guy like Rhys Hoskins also, that should be able to go out there and mash. JT Realmuto being one of those guys as well. I'm looking forward to seeing how this gels, how those older guys take those younger guys under their wing, and when those younger guys struggle, how they're going to get out of it. Because as we all know, even if you start out hot, there's going to be a minute where all of a sudden you start to hit those down beats. It's all about how you come out of those down beats. It's all about life, baby. It's all about life. Ebbs and flows of life. Same thing in baseball. Same thing in baseball. So I'm looking forward to see what the Phillies are able to bring to the table when they come north with the big league ball club. And Bryce Harper, Mickey Moniak, you have earned your spots as far as I'm concerned. And yesterday was just another perfect example of that. So we'll get into that conversation as well with our man Matt Kerwin coming up in just a second. But before we do that, let me tell you about my man Mike Seibert, Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Mike Seibert is a retirement income certified professional at Destination Retirement LLC, a partner of 1847 Financial and an advisor for Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies fans only. Maybe the Flyers next year. You know, we're always hoping. We're always hoping. But when it comes to long-term savings, why are you giving up current enjoyment of your income? The answer to have an income stream in retirement. That's what the real answer is. It only makes sense then to use and understand how retirement income streams work so that you can direct savings in ways that give you the highest income when you retire. I know you're young right now. You're thinking, retirement. Get ready now so you can enjoy your distribution years. See, right now, we're in our accumulation years. We get to the later years of our lives, we want to make sure we have enough money put away to enjoy it even more. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Is the objective to get to the top of the mountain and then that's it? No, you got to get down safely. That's the distribution year. The accumulation is the climbing. The distribution is going down the mountain as safely as possible. These are two different phases of your financial life. Each should be addressed separately. This month, let's talk about college planning, for instance. We all know that college is expensive. You ever thought about how it'll affect your retirement? Let Mike Seibert at destinationretirement.com. Let him show you an effective way to help pay for your kids' college and still retire on your own terms. Your first step is to avoid starting your growth cycle over by depleting accounts like 529s, for instance, for big expenses like college. You don't want to lose your position on your growth cycle, and you have to start over. Nobody wants to do that. Mike can help you not do that. You can't get that time back. Instead, set yourself up with the ability to use vehicles that you can take money out of without starting your growth cycle over again. Find out how your annual retirement savings can help your college savings. Yes, that can happen with the help of Mike Seibert. So do that. And also, you can also see your annual college savings help your retirement savings. How about that? They're all helping each other. Mike will set up your own portal and retirement analyzer, then use software to help you navigate through the different phases of your life. For questions, and to set up a meeting with Mike, you can email him at gobirds@1847financial.com. That's gobirds at 18, that's the numbers 1847financial.com, or call his office at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. You can also visit the website at destinationretirement.com. That's destinationretirement.com. And as always, go Birds and play the song. How about my man Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers? I hate Steven Singer. Makes it so easy to buy the perfect gift each and every time, like the new creamsicle rose. That's right. Another gold dip rose, 24-karat gold dip rose from Steven Singer and IHateStevenSinger.com. Only available at IHateStevenSinger.com. Creamsicle rose is a beautiful thing for Mother's Day, so make sure you order this amazing rose at the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right on Jewelers Row. And do what I do. When it comes to all your jewelry purchases, see my man Steven Singer, because every day you know you're getting the perfect price. You don't have to worry about some coupon, some promo code, some sale. The sale's every day because you're getting treated like gold, people. So go to the other corner of 8th and Walnut and take advantage of that perfect price. Other jewelers like to mark things way up just to mark it down a little bit in front of you. And guess what? They're still making out like bandits. But the Steven Singer, he marks it at the perfect price. Not too much, not too less. So you know when you walk in there, you don't go in there feeling like you have to negotiate, like you got to haggle. Oh, did the person next to me pay less than me because they negotiated better? No. Flat rate, perfect price for everybody. That's the great thing about Steven Singer. That and the great quality diamonds and the great quality human that will sell you that diamond, that will walk you through everything. Do what I do. Go to Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right on Jewelers Row. IHateStevenSinger.com. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Ladies and gentlemen, first, I see you in the chat right there. I think Alyssa was the first one. I don't know. Yeah, it's a dark shirt today. Very dark. This shirt might be the darkest I've ever worn on this show. So, emo Farzi's here, as we like to refer to it, as you guys like to refer to it, as a matter of fact. It's opening week, ladies and gentlemen. Phillies are going to be playing baseball on Friday, and it's going to count, baby. It's going to count. So without further ado, to help us break it all down and more, our friend from PHLSportsNation, Matt Kerwin, joins us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line to talk about all things Philadelphia Phillies. Rothman Orthopedics guest line from PHLSportsNation, running all things Phillies. You can read his latest article right there on Twitter. I've also retweeted this, so it's on my timeline as well as Phil's Nation for PHLSportsNation. And also, you can follow him on Twitter as well. There he is right there. Matt Kerwin, ladies and gentlemen, joins us from PHLSportsNation. What's up there, Matt?
I'm good, Mark. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you, and I'm excited because you're a first-time guest on the show, and first-time guests get 5 questions. So we're going to give you the Fast 5 at the end of the show, and we're going to see how you answer those Fast 5, my friend. But first and foremost, just generally speaking, before the club comes north, all that stuff, how excited are you, to play games at least, how excited are you for this Philadelphia Phillies team, this roster, this lineup?
I'm very excited this year. I mean, I'm always excited every year. I'm one of those fans that, takes the offseason, restarts if it's bad or whatever. And, I'm just ready for this team. But more so this year than usual. I mean, we've had a lot of really great signings. A lot of chemistry has been building. Spring training has been, it's been accumulating. And I'm just ecstatic for this upcoming season. I can't even explain it.
As am I. I got to be honest, and my honest knows this. When it comes to baseball, I'm still pissed off at baseball, but I still love the Phillies. And this is how it's going to work this year. It all comes down to the question marks and the spots of who's going to be filling the spots in the outfield, most likely, and third base, obviously. Let's start with the center field position right now. It seems to be down with Odubel Herrera being out. Seems to be down right now between Mickey Moniak and Matt Vierling. Who do you go to as your center fielder opening day for the Philadelphia Phillies?
Well, me personally, I'm going Mickey Moniak. I think, he hit 2 more home runs today in the spring training game, and he's been a hitting machine. His fielding is decent enough. It's good enough. I know that defense is going to be a possible problem for this team, but we'll see. But I think that Mickey Moniak and Matt Vierling are going to be that sort of platoon that will feature in center field. But if I had to pick one for opening day, it's going to be Mickey Moniak. Joe Girardi, on the other hand, he's someone who might go for Moniak just because he's got the hot bat. But Girardi also has his favorites. He has his veterans that he likes to go to. So, this roster still has a lot of questions in certain areas that, Joe and the coaching staff are going to have to figure out and make those decisions. But personally, from a performance standpoint, Moniak has sealed the job to get that opening day start.
Love that idea. The other hot button is the hot corner, and that comes down to Bryson Stott. Do you move Didi Gregorius over, Stott to shortstop, Alec Boehm even? What do you do to solve that problem at the hot corner for the Phillies?
Well, I think that Bryson Stott is the right move right now just because he has the hot bat. He's been hitting very well. He's, him and Moniak have this sort of mental strength energy that they have just accumulated in the last year. And as an athlete, that's so critical. And even Moniak talked about it today in an interview about how he just really got his head straight, figured out the type of person and baseball player he wanted to be. And he's really showing like he's a first round pick, like he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But on the third base side, you also have Johan Camargo, who has MLB experience. Ronald Torreyes as well, who's a Girardi favorite. There's a few people who could fill in there. And obviously Alec Boehm, who's supposed to be, former Rookie of the Year runner-up, the perennial third baseman for the next 5-6 years. He's supposed to be that guy, but he hasn't been performing as well. But and Stott is kind of robbing the cradle from him in a way. And, he's really proving that he can play anywhere in the infield, whether it's second, third, short, he can do it. And I think that right now if I had to say, it's probably going to be between Stott and Camargo, just because of those are the 2 most ready people. They've been performing the most, and they let Bohm just kind of sit in AAA for a while. And if injuries happen or performances go down, Bohm comes up. Like I think there's a lot of depth now with this team because so many people have stepped up, and there's this next man attitude that's really, gunning for all the places in the field. And that's going to be great if anyone falls short of performance or gets hurt.
Let me just say this. From now on, whenever a young prospect replaces another young prospect, I will only refer to it as robbing the cradle. That'll be the only thing. That'll be how it's described from this point on. I hereby decree it. So overall, you talk about the two positions right there that people are kind of fighting over. What we haven't talked about a lot on this show, at least, is the rotation. Ranger Suarez, I think, is bound for the bullpen. Like, I don't have a lot of confidence in Ranger Suarez. I know he's going to start out in the starting rotation for this team. What are your overall expectations when it comes to a guy like Aaron Nola? What can we expect? When do you think we'll actually see Zach Wheeler on the hill? All these other guys, Zach Eflin, obviously, Gibson, all these guys. What can we expect overall from this rotation?
Well, overall, I think that, Aaron Nola can't have any more collapses. We can't have any more early season collapses, and we can't have bad seasons from Aaron Nola. He was supposed to be an ace. He's supposed to be an ace. He needs to perform as an ace, even though he is not. Zach Wheeler is definitely our ace this year, was last year, and should have gotten the opening day start, but obviously the setback with the injury.
Right.
He's had injuries in the past before in Queens when he was with the Mets, but I think that's a Mets thing, not a Phillies thing. I think, he showed he could be healthy for the entire year last year. He will again, and I think he's going to make his first start in that second series against the Mets as the fifth starter, though. I think it's going to go Nola, Gibson, Eflin, Suarez, and then Wheeler. I think that Suarez is an amazing pitcher. He was basically trained as a starting pitcher, entered the league as a starting pitcher in like 18, 19. And he just they bounced him around the bullpen. He pitched every single possible bullpen position: long relief, middle relief, closing pitcher, setup man, and starting pitcher last year. And he performed great at all of them. And I think that, once they consistently put him as the starter, he was only ramping up by the end of the last season as a starter because he didn't have as many starts as some of the other guys. So I'm expecting him to ramp up just as much and have the longevity of the season. He's still a young guy. He's a lefty, which is a great thing to have in this Phillies bullpen, who's predominantly righties. Yeah. Kyle Gibson, he's a bit older. I worry about him a lot just because of him not being able to eat the innings that we're hoping for him to eat. Like, if he can get to the fifth or sixth inning, I'm actually pretty confident in some of the back end guys that we have in the bullpen to get us to the end of the game and hold off the other teams, because we've had our bullpen pitchers, like, the new signings of Juris Familia, Brad Hand, and Corey Knebel have all pitched very well this spring. And that's just, I don't know, it's just something that as Phillies fans for the last few years, we haven't had, because the bullpen has been a dumpster fire.
Yeah, for a lot of years, unfortunately. You bring up some great points about Ranger Suarez, and maybe I'll come around on it eventually, but it all comes down to really how the Phillies use him and then how he takes advantage of his opportunities. As you said, last year, he certainly did that. But he was one of those guys that we have talked about, and I brought up guys from Phillies past, like Cody Ashe, more recent Scott Kingery, these young guys that they bounced around who actually performed at the minor league level. And they're like, let's try him in left field. Let's try him at shortstop. Let's try him at second base. Let's try him in center field. And it just doesn't make any sense. Ranger Suarez is the pitching equivalent of that, because he was a pretty solid minor league pitcher, starting pitcher. They brought him up, bolstered the bullpen, got a couple of reps under his belt that way, and then they started bouncing him around to those different positions you just mentioned. So it's like, will this be the opportunity that he's able to take advantage of to prove his worth to a starting rotation and not just that piecemeal guy in the bullpen?
I fully believe that. I think that Ranger Suarez has established himself as a starting pitcher in the rotation for the Philadelphia Phillies. The other reason I believe that is because if you look at the depth charts, like I study all the 30 teams regardless of the Phillies, because I'm one of those guys that just I can monitor everything, because I even look for trades. Even as a Phillies fan, I'm just like, oh, we could get this guy. If we could get this guy from like the Rangers or the A's or someone, like, it would be great. And I think about those things all the time, and it's plausible if the budget permits it. Yeah, like, I think about those things. I'm obviously not a GM, but like, I
not
have
yet.
mind for it.
Not yet, by the sounds of it.
But when it comes to the Philly starting rotation, if any of those 5 guys that we've talked about go down with injury, it's not really comforting who the next guys who are coming up. In my article, I mentioned like the next guys that will probably come up is probably Christopher Sanchez is going to be in the bullpen, hands down. He'll probably be a long reliever / middle reliever. And, I think that he's gotten some starts this spring. He's gotten starts last year, and he would probably be that next guy to get like as an opener of some sorts, 3 or 4 innings. But after that, all you have is like Francisco Morales, who's a minor leaguer, Hans Kraus, who's a minor leaguer. Like, you don't have any other established guys. I mean, yes, there's a couple other guys in the bullpen with starting experience, like Nick Nelson, but I'm not comfortable with that, and nor should Joe Girardi or the organization be.
Right.
And, with the A's having a fire sale, Sean Manea just got traded to the Padres for prospects. I know Frankie Montes, who's a great pitcher, who started off in the Astros organization, got traded to the A's, and now could be, if the Phillies wanted to get someone a little more consistent, maybe they could shift Gibson over there, just like, and they want to take Gibson as just like a veteran starter, because no one really knows what the A's are doing right now. They're not playing Moneyball as far as I know. But that's Frankie Montes would be a great acquisition for the Phillies and would make them probably the strongest rotation in the NL East.
Yeah, I got a buddy of mine who's probably doing cartwheels right now that you just said that name, because it's all he's talked to me about for quite a while. Would certainly be a great addition to the rotation, no doubt about that. Overall expectations when it comes to just what we're going to be bragging about, hopefully throughout the season, the lineup: Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber. You have Kyle Schwarber leading off. Overall, this lineup for the Phillies, I think, is just getting ready to rake. What are your thoughts on the lineup?
I completely agree. I think that this lineup is going to hit bombs. It's going to be a home run hitting machine the entire year. And we're going to hopefully win a lot of games because of it.
Right. 13 to 10, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But hopefully it's, the pitchers can handle a little bit more than 10 runs.
Right.
But I really think that this lineup is the scariest lineup we've had in a decade. And it's going to really show. Schwarber as the leadoff. I have him as the leadoff. He has the experience. He can do it. I am concerned with his injury history as well as his consistency, because sometimes, leadoff guys, they strike out sometimes. But when you're a leadoff guy, you really can't. You need to get on base. You need to put the ball in play. You got to do that. Those are the responsibilities of a leadoff guy. And if he can't do that consistently, I can see guys like Mickey Moniak or Matt Vierling, or most likely Bryson Stott leading off if he gets the job at third, because those are guys who are they're getting contact. They're getting on base to just set up for Gene Segura, Bryce Harper, JT, Reese, Castellanos, and Schwarber. If we move him down in the lineup, he might be more comfortable there, might get his groove back. Who knows? The lineup is definitely going to shift around a lot depending on the leadoff performance from Kyle Schwarber, I would say. And I'm really interested to see how some of the younger players like Stott and Moniak, Vierling, possibly Odubel Herrera thrown in there when and if he gets healthy, and if the Phillies choose to put him in the majors this year, depending on the other guy's performance, might go into that leadoff spot. It could happen.
Okay. Overall excitement when we look at this Phillies team. They finally going to break the streak. They finally going to make it into the playoffs. If so, wild card team, chance to win the division. How good would this Phillies team be?
This Phillies team has the chance. It should win the division. I have the utmost confidence in it. I really do.
Love it. I can. Hold on. Let me just. I'm taking you serious. I'm just going to bask in that statement for a minute, because the best I've gotten from people is like a wild card team, maybe, and then I'm like, hell yeah, go out there. You know what? Because I'm going to tell you right now, and it goes against all logic. But Matt, I'm telling you, the biggest thing that makes me think they're going to win it is that nobody is picking them to win it, and the fact that you're doing it is only adding to my belief. Like, it doesn't take away from my superstition. It only makes me feel more like, oh hell yeah, they're going to do it.
Yeah, they are, because I look at the rest of the NL East. The Marlins are a young team. They have really great pitchers, good hitters, but they're just not there yet. They have a little bit of there's something going on in that organization. Derek Jeter left for a reason. They're not doing exactly what they're going to need to do. The Mets are just consistently bad with injuries. They're riddled with injuries. It happens every year. You already have DeGrom and Scherzer not off to a good start. You got all these rumors of all these trades that are happening. The team doesn't really know its identity. Obviously, they have a whole new coaching staff. Things might change. It could look up for them. I know that because they have Scherzer and DeGrom, that's like 5 Cy Youngs worth of pitchers, right? Just between the two of them. But I just don't think that that's going to be enough for a team that couldn't give them run support at all last year, which is why the Mets were not in it. The Braves obviously have a very strong team, but they have their injuries. They've made some good signings like Kenley Jansen. But, I just don't know how Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to perform after coming off of this injury. They obviously won the World Series, went on a great run without him. But, that is really up in the air. The Nationals are going to be in the cellar. I'm not really worried about them at all. I just know that if I had to rank the NL East right now, it's probably going to be Phillies, Braves, Marlins or Mets could go either way in third, to be fair, and in fourth, and then the Nats in last. That's just how I see it lining up.
I tell you, whenever you just hear people even speak positively about the Phillies, they're all talking about the lineup. But the minute they talk about the lineup, they want to sound smart, and they want to go like, well, they're going to allow those 10 runs. People like me, they're going to the pitching's not going to be there. The bullpen's going to be weak. You talk about what they do defensively. Oh, so many errors. And it's like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of errors probably. But if they can still smash the other team, then this team's going to be all right.
Exactly. And, Didi Gregorius and Zach Eflin, Gene Segura, Reese Hoskins, that play off the glove was probably the best defensive play of spring training.
Yeah, the flip. Yeah.
Exactly. And, the thing is, this team has, they're not in the majors if they don't know how to field. Regardless of having the worst efficiency or terrible efficiency at defense, they're going to be able to field balls. They're going to do the routine things right, more or less.
Enough. They'll be able to do enough.
They're going to do enough. I project them to be a top 20 defense. I don't think they'll be between 21 and 30. And if they can do that, they're winning that division.
Okay.
And if the new bullpen that we have that Dombrowski went out and got is actually performing. And I'm interested to see how they ramp up and elevate their game, elevate the other guys around them, because it's a mixture of veterans and young guys, and it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
If anything happens, I know David Dombrowski will find something by the trade deadline to get something done. I know that for a fact.
All right,
because they already went over the luxury tax,
right?
So they will make a trade if anything needs to happen.
I hope so. I've just seen, and I know it's not Klentak making the decisions anymore, but what I'm saying is, I feel like we've watched so many bullpen makeovers under Klentak that even when they make the bullpen over mid-season, it's like, okay, new life. Nope, still terrible. I'm just convinced it's something in the water fountain in the bullpen. It's just something in there is making these guys terrible. But hopefully that won't be the case this year. Matt, that's the most positive prediction and the most justified prediction we have gotten so far on this show. I'm going to continue to pick your brain, but before we go into the Fast Five here, I want to ask you this: you guys have a podcast starting up at PHL Sports Nation as well?
Yes, we have a podcast. It's called the 215 Seamer Podcast. It's available on all platforms. I'm one of the 3 co-hosts with Connor Doherty and Dylan Campbell, who are the other 2. And we've been recording episodes on a weekly basis. So 1 episode a week for the last month and a half or so.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Let's pick your brain. You ready to play Fast Five?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. Let's bring in the band. Here we go. There. Ooh, you guys are saucy today. The band's over there and they're saucy. Let's turn you guys down just a little bit. Here we go. First question. Best job before this job. Best job before this job.
Best job before this job was being a student athlete. Definitely.
Where at?
George Washington University. I was a Division I rower.
You were a rower? You weren't that Coxman fellow, were you?
I'm a little too big for that.
I figured as much. That little guy. Row! Like you can quiet. Anyway. All right. Next one. Go-to fast food place.
Go-to fast food place. Well, Probably got to be Mickey D's. You got to.
Oh, finally, somebody said McDonald's. I've been getting Chick-fil-A. I've been getting Chipotle. I'm like, come on, you health nuts. Where are we going here?
I mean, it's just genetically made to be good all the time.
You know what they put in it? A little drop of America. That's what they do. It's delicious. First date deal breaker. First date deal breaker.
I haven't been on a first date in years because I've been with the same girl for a while, and she's.
Oh, you were telling me you
perfect.
guys have an arranged relationship, right? From the time you were 3 years old, your parents just said, "No, these two." No, I'm kidding.
No. It's just it's when you go to through different stages of life. You go on different types of dates, but we met in college and we've been together ever since, and it's just always been great.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's lovely. You know what? Let me go back to this for a second. When you go to fast food, when you go to McDonald's, what's your go-to there? Like, what do you get?
So when I was in college and I worked off a lot of calories, I had this special that I would always get, and it would always be, 2 double cheeseburgers, large fries, and the 20-piece McNugget with McFlurry. If I could.
God! Oh, with a McFlurry.
With the McFlurry.
You burn that many calories sitting on the little Scully thing? Yeah.
You burn a lot of calories. So you got to refuel somehow. And usually McDonald's was a reward the day after a race or something like that sometimes.
All right. That sounds fantastic. Favorite city to travel to?
Ooh, favorite city to travel to? Probably New York. Outside of Philly, like I don't like to leave Philly very often, but I go to New York because, a lot of my friends, my girlfriend works up there. She lives up there. So, I go see her and stay with her for periods of time.
You guys go eat McDonald's together? It'd be beautiful.
No, she can't eat McDonald's. She's a vegetarian.
Oh, I had a veggie burger in McDonald's in Italy. It was delicious. I really want them to bring that to the United States. I feel like we'd really enjoy that.
The McPlant.
The McPlant, whatever it was. Yeah, I forget what they called it. Yeah.
I think
it wasn't bad. Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
There we go.
I haven't had it yet, though. I just saw ads for it.
All right, Matt Kerwin, last question for you. What makes you beep your horn in traffic?
Oh, gosh. It's probably when people, it's definitely when someone tries to merge into my lane without a turn signal. I get mad about that all the time. And
Absolutely.
I will beep at that.
Absolutely.
I'm not the most hostile driver. I try to stay calm. I don't do the road rage thing, but that's definitely one of my biggest pet peeves.
Copy that. I can relate. Matt Kerwin, it was an absolute blast having you on the show. You guys can cut. Thank you. You were fantastic. Really appreciate you. You guys check out his podcast. Check out all the things he writes for PHLSportsNation. All things Phillies related. Make sure you follow him. I'll put him up one more time. Give him a follow on Twitter as well. And for all your Phillies news, make sure you're following what he is saying out there in the Phillies world. Matt, an absolute pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much.
It's been great. I hope to come back again. Let me know.
Maybe. No, absolutely. Absolutely. You were great. Appreciate it. Matt Kerwin joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. I like a guy who just says, oh, they're going to win the division. What's all this wild card talk? Phillies are going to win the division, baby. Don't tell me about no defense. Don't tell me about no pitching. Don't tell me about no bullpen. Phillies are going to rake, and they're going to ride that raking to a division title. I'm at a spot where I'm just like, give me the playoffs. It's been 10 years. We haven't seen playoff baseball in 10 years. And even before that, when we had playoff baseball, we underachieved greatly. So that's how much I'm chomping at the bit since 2008 to get back to that World Series, since 2009 to at least get back to that stage. I like the idea of being bold and saying, no. We're not going to be a team that's going to go out there and just going to be happy to make the playoffs. No, we're going out there with a division. All right, I'm there. I'm there with you. And by the way, to all you art majors, let me just say this. I understand why you think this shirt I'm wearing is black. It's because the lighting in my studio is, I wouldn't really call it professional grade, and that's on me. I need to do a better job of putting my lights in a better position to reflect the colors of my shirts. And I take full responsibility for that. Full responsibility for that. But after I get done these sponsorship hits, I am going to show you a picture of this shirt in proper lighting. And you'll be like, wow, yeah, the lighting does suck. The shirt's not much better, but the lighting still sucks. But let me tell you, people, about the Rothman Orthopedics guest line and the fine people that bring us that each and every day. Remember the old you? The person that didn't have to put up with a fickle knee, a finicky hip, or a shoulder that no longer does what a shoulder should do? Well, the Rothman approach to orthopedics is here to get you back to being you, back to running, walking, working, back to playing, back to living your life the way you want. With same-day appointments available, you can get started today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. So check out RothmanOrtho.com. How about the great people at WinView? Download the WinView app to your phone right now and let the games begin. It's the only game in town where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the biggest sports fan? If you have that friend or family member that think they know everything, maybe that coworker thinks they know everything about sports, say, all right there, fancy pants. How about you download the WinView app, and we'll play a little WinView, and we'll see how that goes. It's an app where you can win real money prizes for making predictions on the games that you love, but it's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can take on other fans and win some money on making predictions of the games they love so much. So download the WinView app right now. And how about Matt Kerwin's people right there at PHL Sports Nation? That's PHL Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience at PHLSportsNation.com. All right, before we get to the comments, ready? 3, 2, 1, boom. That shirt is a dark red. Definitely looks black in the shot now that I'm looking over here to the right. But I look over to my left. Definitely a dark maroon. Huh? This is actually one of my favorite shirts until I was at a promotional event some years ago. And then I was in an Eagles tailgate, and I was wearing this shirt because I was doing some stuff. It's still not red. It says April. I was wearing this shirt, and they said, "Why is Farzy dressed like he's at a what did they say? Oh, a gender reveal." I was like, "That's good. That's a funny one." So now, whenever I wear this shirt, I always think of. I always think of me going to a gender reveal. My gender reveal shirt. Really? You guys don't think? Yes, it's a more of a red, or excuse me, more of a maroon. Anyway, Alyssa, yeah, we don't call that red. April, still not red. Thank you. Yeah, maroon. Okay, it's more of a maroon. You're right. I agree. There we go. Is a maroon not a deep red, folks? Let's take 20 minutes and discuss. No. Anyway, let's jump into the chat check, ladies and gentlemen, see how you fine people are doing. Mullet, what's going on, Mullet? Good morning to you. Matt Zoomater, what's up? Zuameyer, excuse me. Matt, what's up? Opening week, you're damn right. Hi, everyone. Hi, Scott. Scott says, hi, I'm a new sub. Big fan of the show. From what I've seen over the weekend already, that's very nice of you, Scott. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you. Trent, good morning to you. Mullet, hello again. Jonathan, loving the early morning stuff. I'm a third shifter listening to you while I grocery shop. Okay, don't forget the kale. The kale is very important, apparently. People love the kale. I saw this on the internet, so it must be true. Pizza Hut used to be the #1 purchaser of kale in the U.S. because they use the kale to decorate the salad bar in the buffet. Who knew? Tom Brady would go over there while his friends were eating pizza and just eat all the kale. What the hell you doing, kid? Anyway, but that's pretty interesting. So enjoy grocery shopping and welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. Dan, what's up, Dan? Charlie, what's up, Charlie? Nice to have you. Toby did get fouled pretty damn hard. Matt, hello again. Alyssa, good morning. Kevin, you can defend the free throw line by not fouling. Kevin, I'm reading this in my Norm Macdonald voice. You can defend the free throw line. You know how to do that? Not fouling. Also sending Joel and Harden to the line 40-plus times isn't playing good defense, Cleveland. My point exactly. How are you going to bitch and moan about free throws when it's your guys that aren't moving their feet? Morons. Wearing maroon shirts on their poorly lit web shows. I'd be thrilled to see the. Oh, Rick, what's up, Rick? Dan, I'd be thrilled to see the Sixers win the title. It'll be hard. Be hard to be happy for Duck. He's so snug. I think you mean smug, and it would only get 10,000 times worse. You're right. John Doe, what's up, John? Trade Hurts for what? Dan Schwartz literally says, for what? Nick Foles? Oh, yeah, Dan. So I'm trying really hard to get LA on the show. And when that story comes out, like normally when you get a yes for something like that, and then you don't get a yes, it's like something's going on. And then a week later, I see the story about LA is cutting down his workload. 100% his decision. And for us as fans, it sucks because we love LA. You want to talk about LA? LA is the guy that we always feel is telling us like it is. Like, he's not trying to BS us. He's not trying to sugarcoat anything. He is very matter of fact, very direct. He's entertaining at the same time, extremely knowledgeable, as we know. I love Larry Anderson. I think he does a phenomenal job. And I will honestly say that as a human being, I enjoy that man. I find him to be hysterical one-on-one in situations. He's exactly who you think he would be. And I will say one of my most prideful moments is making LA laugh. And I forget the exact instance, but we were at the ballpark. We were talking before an interview or just after an interview. And the Phillies were really going through it. And he said something like, well, you know, they did do this one thing that they did pretty well. And I just went, yeah, that's adorable. And for whatever reason, adorable was like a trigger hilarious word for LA. And he lost it. And I was like, oh, making LA laugh. It's a good day today. Did I hit this thing again? Am I still on there? That misfired. That whole LA story. It's my stupid face with the maroon shirt. Matt, wow, this is a question. Why is Farzy so emotional sometimes? I'm glad you asked. No, I don't know. I'm an emotional guy. It's very depressing that we're going to get less LA. Danny, yeah, you're absolutely right. Mark, what's going on? Good morning. Alyssa, hello again. Emo Mark today. Shout out Alyssa. You nail on the head. Eric, see, so here's what happened. I packed this shirt for the weekend, and I wore it on the way home, and then I had to tape an interview with Matt. So I just literally pulled in our garage, ran downstairs, hit record, started, and this is the shirt I was wearing. I'm going to tell you right now, you'll never see this shirt again. Unless we're at a gender reveal together. Then you'll wear it. Then you'll see it. Why is Farzy so emotional? You sound like my wife. Charlie, hello again. JD, what's up, JD? Charlie, girlfriend in his profile, classy. Yeah, those are points, baby. Hold on. Wait, do I still have his profile? No, I took it out. Anyway. But yeah, that's points, man. Scoring points. Farzy, excited for a new morning routine. Scott, that's awesome. Glad to have you, man. Is anyone else feed going in and out of clarity? Charlie, again, that's me. I think I responded in the chat. Lester, my man Lester, give me Moniak. You're damn right. Give me Moniak or give me death. Or Vierling. Maybe Vierling before death. But definitely not Odubel. Death before Odubel. Yeah? All right. Farzy got some news for you. You may be... JD says, Farzy, I got some news for you. You may be colorblind. That shirt is not red, with all due respect. Dan Schwartz, wait, what? Red? Red is the new black? Let me guess. Farzy, you think Kendall Jenner is fat, don't you? All right. Now, you listen to me. All right. I don't have any pictures on my computer. Well, of course I don't. Of Kendall Jenner. But she is a very slender young lady. Okay? But this shirt is a maroon, which is the cousin of red, as I'll refer to it of. Yes, a freaky cousin of red, if you must. Dan is asking me if I smoked already this morning. Craig, what's going on? Phillies rare red. You are not wearing red. Love you, but colors are not subjective. Craig, I agree. Remember that blue dress thing, though, from a couple of years ago? It's like if you like left-minded people saw blue and like right-minded people saw whatever, but it wasn't blue. Like, remember that? And it was like, destroyed Twitter for the day. It was all about the dress is red, the dress is blue, the dress is yellow, and it was like all about, I don't know, whatever it was. It was like if you eat carbs, you see a blue dress. If you don't eat carbs, then you're crazy anyway. I don't know. It was weird. But Lester, Doc Rivers could learn a thing or two about accountability from tuning into the Farzy show. See, I hold myself accountable. Rob in the Cradle will be used from now on. when it comes to a young prospect taking the place of another young prospect. Farzy, I tune in and you're wearing black. Who hurt you? Says Rob. And as I responded to you in the chat, the open bar at the wedding hurt me. And so did the cookie table. Congrats. I don't know. See, come on, hold on. Wait. The force be with you. Aha! PJ told me that during the interview. He goes, just put your hand up and you'll autofocus back to the thing. So I have magic powers. Just put my banana hands up there. Anyway. Scariest lineup we've seen in a decade? Yes, please. Lester, you damn right. Lester, can't imagine the reaction from fans if Stott doesn't make the lineup. People will be pissed. People will be pissed. Real time. What's up, real time? Good morning, chat. Glorious morning. I got a Sixers win. Couple of Sixers wins over the weekend. Absolutely. Phillies hitting season. WrestleMania. I haven't watched a WrestleMania in quite some time. And it would have to be the days of like The Rock versus Triple H. That's probably the last time I watched wrestling. And I'm always reminded of the Kevin Nealon line from Saturday Night Live from all those years ago. WrestleMania happened over this weekend, and experts are still trying to figure out why. On the next joke. I was never a big wrestling. I mean, there was a 3-month period of my life where I was a huge wrestling fan. Not so much Stone Cold, although I know he's great because I hear my friends who really into it, they really like him. But I was a Mankind fan, Mick Foley. And The Rock was like the hero of the day when I was in it for like 3 months. But I always liked, Dude Love, Mankind, pretty much anything Mick Foley did I thought was great. I got a chance to meet him. Got my picture with him at Wing Bowl one year. Pride of my life. Favorite job being a student athlete. Yeah. Hey, maybe he had an Instagram account. Maybe he was making some dough. Farzy looks like a fixer of Philly sports. He's a made man. What's funny about that? Real time. As a Italian Polish person, I can't be made because I'm not 100% Italian. And you know how I know that? Every once in a while, someone will tell me that. Like, oh, well, you can never be made if you're half Polish. And I'm like, wasn't a goal, but okay. Wasn't a goal. Plus, I wouldn't give up pierogi for that. So, come on. Feel like 2000 all over again? What feels like 2000 all over again? Oh, the wrestling. Okay. I'll take your word for it. Stone Cold glass break still gives me the chills at 39 years old. Good for you, real time. Baba Boucher. What's up, man? A lot of wrestling conversation. Sum 41, is that a band? Farzy is gaslighting. Trying to make us think it's not black. Do I need to put this up for another hour by accident? All right. Anyway, it's not black. It's charcoal. Okay, Sean. All right, Sean Gillespie. Mullet. I'm McLovin' it. Go Phillies. How about that? We finally got it. I've been asking these questions for like a month and a half, and finally somebody said McDonald's. Like, are we not in America? Give me the Chick-fil-A. Give me the Chipotle. Give me whatever. Yeah, just give me some. I need checkers, man. I need one person to throw out a checker. I need one person to say a big Buford burger. By the way, with Embiid with another 40-point night, I'm well overdue to eat checkers on the show. All right, Farzy, your shirt is darker than the black in the Farzy show sign. How's that? Is that the darker? By the way, did I just blow some people's minds? Because a lot of people think this is a green screen. All right. How close is that? That's pretty damn close. All right. That's pretty damn close. As I spill my espresso. There we go. That's a little lower. I'll fix that later. The Farzy, your shirt looks darker than the black in the Farzy shirt sign. You're putting up a picture that shows you in a black. Matt's now. You keep putting up a picture of you in a black shirt. Laugh my ass off. I feel like broads will get stoned and get. I don't know. I'll have to ask him. My shirt is legit darker than the sign. Okay. Like I said, the last time, what was the Sum 41 song? I don't know bands. Did you not see like the Sinatra in the background of that photo? Hold on. That's Sinatra and Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. in the upper right. Yeah, I am blocking a little bit more than I thought, so maybe you can't see it. But yeah. Well, blurry. No longer blurry. Okay, cool. But there you go. 100% darker. It's legit darker. All right. Like I said, you'll never see me in this shirt again on the show. All right. Thanks, everybody. Buddy T-Mac, I could see Farzy putting on eyeliner. Guyliner, you mean? Putting on eyeliner and going to an emo concert. Not happening. Not my bag, babe. Not my bag. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Thanks to all the new people that subscribe to the show. Much appreciated. You guys are fantastic. Here's my push. Now, last night, let's be real. Okay, let's be real for a second. Joel Embiid goes out, gets you 44-17 with 5 blocks. All right. Last night, Giannis goes out. Giannis loses, and Giannis drops 28 points with 10 rebounds. Joker goes out there and gets, I believe it was 38 points and 18 rebounds for the Denver Nuggets with 6 assists. He has himself a good game. Joel Embiid, though, carried his team to a win. As that game was winding down, maybe from the 6-minute mark on, it was Joel Embiid. It was the Joel Embiid show. And you might say 44 points. I mean, that's pretty much the whole game was his show. Not so much. The clutchness of Joel Embiid down the stretch against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are a good basketball team. Somebody called me out a couple months back, or maybe a couple of weeks ago, the last time I played the Cavs, and they said, oh, you're thinking of the old Cavs. This is the new Cavs. They're a good team. I don't doubt that. The Cavs are a good team. The Cavs are a playoff team. But it's not so much about the Cavs being good as the Sixers supposed to be great. And Joel Embiid is supposed to be the MVP. It would bring me so much joy. I've said this before. I have never rooted harder for a person to make the MVP, to get the MVP, than I am right now for Joel Embiid. Like, I wanted Bryce Harper to get the MVP. I was rooting hard for that. That pales in comparison to how much I want to see Joel Embiid get that MVP trophy. Because I want Embiid to have a better career in Philadelphia than Allen Iverson. And if you're having a draft, who are you taking first? Taking Joel Embiid or taking Allen Iverson? I'm taking Joel Embiid. For everything that he can do on the floor, defense, offense, everything, I'm taking Joel Embiid over AI. But in terms of who's had the better career, AI has got that MVP. AI has been to a finals, an NBA finals. He's won a conference championship. I want at least that for Joel Embiid. And let it start with the MVP award. Let it start right now. And then you go get that trophy, that championship trophy. You go get that Larry O'Brien trophy. James Harden's got to step up his game more so than he has recently. I didn't see Tyrese Maxey get back to that score that we saw him be for a couple of weeks there, especially when James Harden just got to town. I need Tobias Harris to be a more consistent scorer as well. He was great from 3. 5 threes over the weekend against Charlotte Hornets. Fantastic. 5 for 9 shooting from beyond the arc? All that's great. It all starts with Joel Embiid. And that's one of the things, like last night is the perfect example of the only time I'll ever rip Joel Embiid or call out Joel Embiid. And that's for all the people that think like he's perfect. Well, he's not. All right. That's what you need to see from your MVP candidate in Joel Embiid. The game he had against, was it the Bucks, that towards the end of that game, he had the opportunity to throw it down with 4 seconds on the clock. He had the ball in his hands with 3 seconds on the clock, dribble, gather, dunk. We got a tie ball game at that point. That's how good Joel Embiid is. I find it funny that people will argue against Joel or will argue for Joel Embiid to be the MVP and tell you how great he is all the time. But in that particular moment, make an excuse for him. When he himself after the game said what he should have done was dribble, gather, and dunk. Probably should have thrown it down. But at that point, he was trying to rush it because he didn't know how much time was on the clock. Well, you got to know how much time's on the clock. And from the position he was in the start of the play, he should have known. He's at the foul line, or excuse me, he's at the three-point line. James Harden's shot goes up, track the ball, get a glimpse of the clock, know how much time, count it down, jump, jam. That's how great a player he is. He can do that. He knows he can do that. Last night was the example of him doing that. The Sixers won the game last night because Joel Embiid said, we're not losing. And that's why the Sixers won. They could have very well lost that game. They weren't playing nearly as well as a team as they should have. Joel Embiid, hey, I got this. And they won the game. That's why he's your MVP. And even more so, that's why he should be the MVP. And by the way, Joel Embiid with as many 40-point games, 10 rebound games, with as many as he's had this season, 11? Joel Embiid, anybody else that's done that more than 10 times has won the MVP. So that's a nice feather in the cap for Joel Embiid in the case to win the MVP. Plus, all the stuff that they have gone through throughout the entire season with the Ben Simmons saga, Joel Embiid has made this team a playoff team. Not just a playoff team, one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. So, yeah, he deserves the MVP. Sixers back in action against the Pacers tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, tip-off, I believe it is. Flyers won yesterday, which is always nice, in a shootout, if I'm not mistaken. So, hey, the Flyers won a game. Let's all celebrate. Phillies a little bit later in the season. Michael Barkan will be a guest of the show later this week to help us preview the Philly season. And we'll try to get some more decent baseball guests for you guys lined up to get you ready for the rest of the season. I can see... nobody told me. I'll have to Google it. Sum 41. I'm gonna as soon as the show's over, I'm gonna Google what their songs were, and I won't know any of them by title. I'll be able to like play that one and be like, oh, I remember that song. I was sophomore in college when that song came out. Just judging by the idea that Buddy T-Mac is telling me from the years they were active. So there you go. Oh, Zach. That's, who brought that up? Who did bring that up to me? Oh, my buddy Joe. So I told you my buddy Joe that I grew up with out here. Biggest Flyers fan I know. He married a girl from Pittsburgh, lives out that way now. First thing he said to me was like, why are they benching Yandel? And I was like, I don't know. It makes zero sense to me. They just don't care anymore. I'm done trying to figure them out. I wish I could tell you why they were doing it. I don't know. I wish I could tell you. It doesn't make any damn sense. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening again. Welcome to the new subs, everybody. Great talking to you again today. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Talk some more fine sports conversation and give an official preview, not just of the Phillies starting lineup for the season, but also NFL draft later this month. Later this month, NFL draft is going on. Eagles, as of right now, have 3 first-round picks. We'll see how that goes. DK Metcalf out there. Devontae Parker ended up, we talked about him last week, went to the Patriots for a 3rd-round pick. The Dolphins sent a 5th and Devontae Parker to the Patriots. Patriots in return sent a 3rd-round pick to Miami. Would have liked the Eagles to have been at least in on that, maybe kicking the tires. If they were, great. If they weren't, no big deal. But DK Metcalf is a guy that I would absolutely go out there and I would get. He would be the perfect complement to this Eagles team. By the way, this is your Morning Rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. But all this conversation about DK Metcalf, well, let's see here. Who do you got right now on this roster? All right. You got that Devontae Smith guy. He looks pretty good. I think he's going to have a nice little NFL career. I got Quez Watkins, speed guy. I think he could be your solid number 3. That'd be nice. You have this guy, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Do I need to say anything else? No? Okay, cool. Moving on. Jalen Ray. No, just not impressed still? Okay. Add DK Metcalf. You want to change his scenery? You want to change his speed? You want to change the pace of play? You want to change a different style? You want to see a different style? DK Metcalf. As soon as humanly possible. Hey, Howie, you want to stop hearing DK Metcalf jokes? Get DK Metcalf. Overpay if you need to. Get him here. If Nick Sirianni is going throughout the year talking about J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and saying after the season that J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is like your enforcer, then what do you think DK Metcalf will be? He will be a tornado. He will be a guy to just blow people away on the football field. Get him in here as a change of pace guy, possession receiver that can still take it to the house, physical. You want that? You want an enforcer? You want a guy that can be a real enforcer? Go get DK Metcalf. Put him in the, I'm sorry, that I left out Pascal, Zach Pascal as well. He'll be fine. But when it comes to being that legit number 2 wide receiver behind Devontae Smith, competing even for that number 1 spot, whatever it is, it'll be 1 and 1A. You get Devontae Smith and you get DK Metcalf. If you're Jalen Hurts, you're feeling pretty good about life. Make that happen. And if we're going to make more DK Metcalf jokes towards Howie Roseman and JJ Arcega-Whiteside and all that, then that's what we'll do, by golly. If that means getting DK Metcalf here. Why is Farzy so emotional? I don't know. I guess it's just in the blood. Oh, Brian. Ooh, okay, we put the quarter in. We put the quarter in Brian when it came to a conversation about Keith Yandel being benched. Yeah. I'm just happy somebody's passionate about the Flyers, Brian, excuse me. Please get DK Metcalf. He'll get everyone excited about the Eagles. Sean Gillespie, you're absolutely right. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are fantastic. Much appreciated, you guys, for joining us. Everyone, have a great rest of your day. Oh, geez. Yeah, April. Anyone care about this game tonight? I'm sure they do in Carolina's April. North Carolina obviously taking on Kansas for the championship. Kansas outed Duke, Kansas outed Villanova. North Carolina outed Duke and played spoiler again to Mike Krzyzewski. I like Coach K. I know I'm in the minority. I'm supposed to hate him, but I don't know why, but just because. But I've always respected him. I've always liked him. Congrats on a great career to him. And if you're a North Carolina fan, this must be, even before the championship, the greatest thing ever. So congratulations on all the North Carolina fans taking care of business against Coach K and Duke. Second time in, a month that they ruined a party for Coach K, his farewell at the Cameron Indoor, and then obviously bouncing him out in the Final Four so he couldn't make it to a national championship game. And that's that. So he rides off into the sunset. But North Carolina has impressed me all year. First-year head coach with Hubert Davis, who's done a great job with that squad. Very deep team. I actually like them against Kansas. Kansas is a hell of a team. When it comes to depth, they got 4 guys on North Carolina that can just take over at any minute. Kansas relies on 2 main players, but when it comes to what they can do at UNC, I like UNC tonight. 8 upsetting. What, Nova was the last team in 85 as an 18 to win the championship? Let's see if they can do that again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Much appreciated, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. New people, welcome aboard. Our regulars, always a pleasure to see you guys. Jim Hyder produced the program, did a phenomenal job. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. I'm Mark Farzetta in a very dark maroon shirt that you'll never see again. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. This is the Farzy Show presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Coming to you live every day, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. from the Steven Singer Studios. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.